Robinhood announced new AI features this week to help traders make sense of their portfolio, and the company is also wading deeper into predictions markets. To tell us more about the company's strategy overall, I want to bring on Steve Quirk, Chief Brokerage Officer at Robinhood. Steve, welcome to the show. It's great to have you here.
Thanks so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Well, I'm excited for the conversation. You had some exciting announcements earlier this week. Look, you made this string of announcements about AI features. And
Mhm.
the question I want to ask just at the outset here is, can the AI do the trading for you? How does it work?
Yeah, we're not quite there yet. And I don't even know if truthfully, if our customers want to go all the way there. Especially, I mean, the majority of them probably won't want to go all the way there. But what they really would like is some help in identifying, if I'm a technical person, identifying patterns that are of interest to me or opportunities for trades. And then having AI capabilities help me do the research and optimize that trade. Because I think what you experience with a lot of people who are very active is they of course want all the help they can get in identifying opportunities and even making sure that they optimize those opportunities. But there's a certain sense of fulfillment they get from actually doing it themselves.
Right.
And so I think that's the aspect. And by the way, that the other part is the part that is the most labor intensive and takes the most amount of time. So if we can help them in that component, I think it's going to be game changing for many people.
Right. Now, I just want to, play this forward a little bit. And I know you said you're not sure you ever will get to the point where AI
Yeah.
will be doing the trades for you. But look, I have never really done any hardcore trading in my life.
Yeah.
The difference between what AI trading would be and then like algorithmic trading, what
hmm
would be the functional difference there?
Well, I just think it's taking it to the next level because algorithmic trading has been around for quite some time.
Right.
And so like even so the one of the first things that we rolled out from an AI standpoint, and I'm talking about client facing because we've done a lot internally that's been really helpful for customers. But one of the things for what I'll call the more sophisticated traders that we first rolled out is a lot of them do some scripting or scanning for either indicators or opportunities of stocks that are looking like, whatever variables they want to put in. But in many instances, they have to either do that scripting themselves, learn a language and then script, or create these scans, which can be kind of time consuming. And what the AI capabilities that we've rolled out give them the opportunity to do is either do text or a speech and just put those in, and then they can save them as a preset and even share them with other people who have interest in doing that as well. That's
Hmm.
very, very powerful because you're basically taking the universe of people who are qualified to be able to using these capabilities from, like call it 1% to a much larger audience. And many people want that help.
Whose models are you using under the hood?
Our own. We're using our own because
Okay.
we have a lot of customer data.
Built
And
them,
so,
built
of
them,
course,
built them yourself.
yeah, because think about it, we're 26 million customers and a lot of data. Now, I mean, for the information, of course, we have to go outside, because you're talking about market moving information. So, we have many, many different news sources that we use.
Right.
And then that's the source of information for a lot of what's publicly traded.
Now, the other slate of announcements you made is the company's move to wade deeper into prediction markets, which I know
hmm
is the most exciting topic everyone wants
It
to talk
is.
about.
Everybody wants it. It's the topic du jour over the holidays.
Well, and I didn't even think about that. I mean, people are going to be talking about it a lot this Christmas, I'm sure, over dinner
Yeah.
and stuff like that. I want to ask you a bit of a question here. Look, if Kalshi and Poly Market didn't get so much traction, if they weren't the names that we know them to be in the tech sector right now,
hmm
do you think Robinhood would have opened a predictions market?
Um, it wasn't like so if the sort of the genesis of prediction markets, I would argue kind of started on even more traditional exchanges like the CME, which is now getting into it as well, or ICE. So they, came out with some binary products and some futures on weather and things of that nature, which just give you a little more precision. So in other words, if I'm a grain person who's, interested in grains, and I'm either hedging myself or speculating. What I'm really speculating on is the weather, and so like they've just gotten closer to what the real source of the interest is in terms of the investment thesis.
Right.
The prediction markets in Kalshi and Poly and others, they really capitalized on the interest. It started in, I think the biggest one that, at least from our standpoint, was around the election. And of course, the election is going to drive a lot of movement in people's portfolios. And the idea that I have to parse out which component of my portfolio is going to move which way, depending on who's elected, is work. But the idea that I can just make an investment thesis on the election, which essentially either
Right.
allows me to capitalize on my portfolio or protect it. It's much easier and much more precise. And that, like the interest on that, which we rolled out, was like 500 million contracts in a week. Insane, like crazy, crazy, crazy interest. And then it grew because they want to express opinions on, will the Fed move interest rates? Will Kevin Hassett be the next Fed? Everything is
So
just.
even if Kalshi and Poly market didn't get the traction that they got, you still would have opened a predictions market, probably. You're saying.
Well, I mean, in fairness to them, they are the exchange. So like we're not an exchange right now. Like think of it very similar to our equity model, which is we route to exchanges, or option model. We route to exchanges. So we need one of those exchanges, and there's Forecast X as well. That's who we started with. So that's kind of the model for us. We're the distribution. We have the customers. They're the exchange that is creating the product, and then we're going through them. So I mean, in fairness to them, either them or the CME or somebody has to create that,
Right.
because
Right.
we're just the agent out here. Yeah.
How do you protect against insider trading on these prediction markets?
It's a good question, because it's something that's been a kind of a hot topic. It's not dissimilar to a topic that was brought up when crypto really was getting its legs, and they were saying, how do we ensure we already do this? Like we do it at scale because we have to, for insiders on insider trading, and corporate people have corporate MNPI, material non-public information. We already have the template and a model that exists. So I would argue, like, bringing this into our world is actually helping it from the standpoint of integrity, because we already have the model. We know where you're employed. We know everything from a KYC standpoint about you. And so we have those protections along with the exchanges.
And so Robinhood is scanning the predictions markets trading that are happening on its platform the same way it's monitoring any other trades for any suspicious
Exactly. And
activity.
and looking at who's trading it. Yep.
Okay. And I do want to ask about regulation here.
Hmm.
Speaking of predictions in 2026, are
Yeah.
you expecting there to be more regulation in 2026 around these prediction markets?
I think what we'll get is more regulatory clarity, which is something that, again, I keep going back to crypto, but we were looking for more regulatory clarity over the course of the last 4 years, and I think we're starting to get it, or we have been getting it, which is helpful because, again, we're highly regulated. We're very accustomed to being regulated. We like regulation because it lays down the template of what we can and cannot do very clearly. And so when there's ambiguity, it kind of puts us in a strange position with respect
Hmm.
to what we want to do. So I'm anticipating more clarity. Yes.
How big a business do you think prediction markets will or could become for Robinhood? What percent of your revenue do you think you could make up 3 years from now?
Well, if you listen to some of our analysts right now, they're modeling it at about a 300 million ARR, or annual revenue rate. And I think this whole business.
That would equate to what percent of revenue
Oh,
roughly?
sorry. Our revenue is about 4 billion. Yeah,
Okay.
well, just over
So
last year, just over 4 billion.
less than 10%.
Yeah, but that said, I would tell you that there are so many more areas where this can go. Like if you think about some of the, and Vlad mentioned this during the event. If you think about some of the tangents where you can go with prediction markets, they're an amazing source of information. and they have the ability for people to do things like, for example, we have weather contract, and in the event that you have a home in Florida and you want to make sure that you're if a hurricane hits, it's going to protect you. Insurance can be quite expensive. A prediction market, much less so, and it makes it a lot easier to be able to hedge yourself in that instance. So that's one example. There's so many examples of ways that you can be more
Right.
precise in your investment thesis
And,
going
and so
forward.
it sounds like the way you're thinking about it, it could be more than 10% of the revenue of the
Oh, it's
company 3
going.
years
Yeah,
from
it
now.
will be more than 10%. Yes, it'll
Like
evolve. Yes, without
50,
question.
50, 50% 3 years from now of revenue?
Oh, I don't.
How high
Yeah, I
do we
don't. Yeah, I don't know if I can project
20,
that.
30?
Yeah, yep. Well, here, I'll give you the counter. Um, it's a very fast moving business, but we also are in a lot of other businesses that are growing quite rapidly. So, as quickly as this grows, we have other ones that are growing equally as fast. Well, not equally as fast. I shouldn't say that. This one is one of the quickest, but other ones that are growing at a pace. So it would be probably a stretch to say it's going to be 50% of our revenue.
Hmm. Let me ask you this. Coinbase unveiled its own features around predictions markets and
Yeah.
stock trading as well.
Hmm.
Why is Robinhood better than Coinbase?
I would just say, we're the original. I mean, we already have scaled businesses in all these areas. So, all the things that they're moving into, we're already established and have customers there. And these businesses are, it takes time to really become a mature, accepted, and good offering. So, there's a lot of competition out there. But we've done pretty well against most of the competition. I think if you look at our overall metrics in terms of, where we are in terms of retail percentage of equity trading in the US and option trading, we're either one or two in every category.
Hmm. And let me ask you this. I know that you got into prediction markets by way of acquisition, I believe. You made a couple of acquisitions that made it easier for you to offer these products. I mean, you guys are huge. Would you ever think about acquiring a poly market or a Kalshi? I know it's a different business, like you said. That's the exchange, but is that
Right.
ever a move you could see coming?
Well, we just did a partnership with SIG, with Susquehanna,
Right,
and bought basically an exchange called LedgerX.
right.
So it's a tri-party agreement, and you could really view that as purchasing an exchange, essentially. Now we have to stand it up and do all the work to get it functioning, but that we're always looking at, number one, do we do this organically? Number two, who do we partner with? And number three, is there an acquisition that we would do? And this is kind of a tri-party agreement, which I think is going to accomplish what you just laid out.
And you wouldn't think about bigger acquisitions down the road in the space?
I think we always think about them, but if you look at how the business exists today, we have the distribution. We are partnering with the largest liquidity provider. Those are probably the two most important elements here. And then, having optionality with respect to which exchange we route to, so that if one has a product that is more accommodating for our customers, we can go there, or if the economics are such that it's more beneficial and we can pass that back to our customers, we'll route to that exchange.
Great. Well, Steve, it was great to have you on the show. I want to
Thanks for
thank you for
having me.
joining us. That is Steve Quirk, Chief Brokerage Officer at Robinhood here on TITB.